hey, I want you to be more aware of what's happening to you because I want you to make the necessary changes in your life so that you don't have to keep going through the toxic cycle. I don't like what's happening and I want to do something about it. Right? We often think that the thing that we have to do is so far away, but it really is just one power shift away from you to say, holy heck, I don't want this anymore. I understand why this has been presented to me in my life, and I want to make the change. I want to not live the way I'm living. I don't want to be in the work environment that I'm in. It's all these little things that are experiences in your life that if you aren't aware of the behaviors that continue to come pattern after pattern, cycle after cycle, they're going to just continue to happen. Even if you make a power shift and you're not aware of it. So, aware is the only way to become fully present in yourself and understand what the heck is actually happening. Hello and welcome back to The Power Shift. I'm your host, Maggie, and I am so excited for today's episode because we are going to be diving into one word and the importance of that one word and how it could absolutely be a life-changing experience for you once you become aware of the word. So, I kind of want to dive into a little background story before we go into the actual training of what the word is and why it could have such a significant change in your life if you could use this one simple technique to become more aware of everything that is going on in your life. So, we're going to talk a little bit about aware and why it is so important and why it is something that we oftentimes forget. We forget to be aware of our surroundings. We forget to be aware of the situation, the circumstances, the experiences, and why they are happening for us. And if they continue to happen for us, and we aren't quite aware of why they're happening, they could actually be trying to teach us a lesson. So let's dive into that a little bit more. So I have had experiences in my life where I wasn't quite aware and I was being challenged. I was being um, basically told things like, hey, look over here, become more aware of this. And I was turning the blind eye to it because I thought it's okay to be aware of it in a way, but not necessarily make the right changes to then make my behaviors different. So I hope this is resonating because I think there's a lot of times in our life where we have a situation that might repeat itself time and time and time again until the wake up call finally says, hey, I want you to be more aware of what's happening to you because I want you to make the necessary changes in your life so that you don't have to keep going through the toxic cycle, the toxic pattern, maybe the times where you're like, I don't even know what the heck I'm doing, right? And so this one true word has been life-changing for me. And that's why I have created a very simple way to work through each and every experience. So I will tell you, I have had two very close situations in my life where I wasn't aware. I was repeating patterns over and over and over again until I finally had that, oh my gosh, I get it moment. And sometimes it was through a really massive setback or a really massive failure or a really long time of staying stuck for all the wrong reasons. And that is why I have created this for you to learn from so that in your own life, you can use this technique time and time and time again. So, my little quick short story around becoming aware and actually making changes happened when I was about 24 years old. And it's one of the experiences and one of the stories we'll probably talk about several times through the power shift because it is so relevant to why I am doing what I am doing today and why I am sharing my story and why I feel like I can make this impact. Is 24 years old. I met someone and I was pretty, I don't want to say the young, dumb, and naive because I was actually very smart. I had my head on my shoulders, but I was in a part of my life where I wasn't really truly sure who I was. And so I got myself locked into this situation. And when I say situation, it's because most of people say, I'm in a relationship. Well, in my eyes, it was a relationship, but it was also very much a situationship where I had become somebody that I wasn't through my relationship. And I wasn't aware of it, right? So it was, day in and day out, I was losing myself more and more and more through this relationship. And it was basically put in my lap to say, if you are not going to learn from what's happening for you, then we're going to keep giving you that same situation. So it can happen time and time and time again in our lives where we feel as if, like, why does this keep happening? Why does this behavior not change? Why do I keep having the tough luck? Or why does this happen? And it's because you're not fully aware of what the lesson or the silver lining is for you to make the power shift. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about that. So I continued to allow things in my situation or my relationship to continue to happen because I thought it was as good as it got. I thought it was what it was. I thought that I was supposed to be in this life with this person I chose to raise his children, to build a business alongside of him, and to have all of this was that's what came along with it was the lying, the cheating, the manipulation, the belittlement. And I was thinking to myself, why are all of these things continuing to happen? It's like those secret conversations that happen behind you, but in another way, the universe is saying, like, hey, I've heard this. So let me redirect you away from what's happening here. I got to put you into something so that you can make that change. So I was in this relationship and time and time and time again, it was he cheated on me. Oh, okay, it's okay. Let's forgive it. Let's work on our relationship. Let's do what we need to do to stay here. Like, this is my comfort bubble, and I don't really want to go outside of it. So I'll let you do that. And I was aware, but not aware enough to say, this is not okay. So if you're sitting in the audience listening and you're thinking, wow, okay, I've had some of this situation happen, and then you continue to let it happen, I want you to sit back for just a second and think about why does it continue to happen? And it's because we haven't gone through the entire process of becoming aware. So that's kind of my short story. I allowed the things to continue to happen. And at the time of me leaving that relationship, I think at the number I can recall was about 5 women who were his girlfriends or his new partner or whatever while we were in this relationship. And maybe even a situation where he had a child with this person. And the lies, the cheats, the manipulation, like I said, was continuing like that every couple of weeks, every month, every 6 weeks, every month, whatever it was. And so when I can finally say that I finally became aware, it was like almost like one of those lists that just you open up and it just falls down and you're going, okay, I get it. I need to become aware of what I am allowing in my life to make me lose my self-confidence, my self-worth, my self-esteem. My entire life was in this little like scroll of saying, if you don't want to accept these things, I'm going to continually put them into your life until you can actually become aware and say, I deserve better. I want better. I need better to make the power shift. Okay. So today we're going to dive into a little training. So I'm super excited to offer you this little mini training on what aware is, how to work through it, and why it has been so life-changing to me. And I know that it can be life-changing for you because I've used it now time and time again through other parts of my life where it's like, hold on, wait a second, what can I learn from this? And how can I move away from what I'm continually doing and getting the results I don't like or want to move forward? So, all right. I want you to, if you're in a safe place, I know some people listen to this driving. I want you to take out a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down the word aware. And I want you to not write it longwise. I want you to write it down the sheet of paper, AWARE. And I want you to leave a little space in between so that you can write down some notes about how you can strategically work through the word aware to move past any sort of experience, setback, challenge, or failure in your life to start making the power shift. Okay, so write it down, get comfy, and open up your ears because I'm telling you that this one word is going to change so much for you. Okay, so let's run through it, and then I'm going to talk about what it is and how you can actually relate this word to your life and get rid of it. Not the word, but get rid of what you're not serving you anymore. What's not there for you, what's not helping you get to that next level self, and what's keeping you stuck. Okay? So A is going to stand for acknowledge or aware. Whether you want to acknowledge it or you want to become more aware of it, this is the first step. This is the one where you have to understand I have to acknowledge what is happening for me. Why is it happening? And how in the heck can I change my thought process around what is going on here? You have to be able to, in every single situation of your life, figure out what is the lesson, the blessing, the learning experience. What is it? So start to acknowledge what is happening, becoming more aware of it, and understanding why is it happening? What's going on in your life? And does it seem to be a constant repeat pattern, or is it something that you're becoming aware of really quickly, hopefully? And you can now say to yourself, I am going to work through this process and move away from what is not serving me and what is feeling like it needs to get the heck out of my life. So, first is acknowledge, become aware of it. If you're not aware, you're never going to make the change. And most oftentimes, we don't even know what we should be aware of, but it keeps happening. So, there might be a pattern. So, if you have a pattern, address the pattern. Address, acknowledge, aware, whatever you want to do. Okay. Then we're going to work into the second part is going to be welcoming it. You have to welcome that behavior. You have to welcome the experience. You have to understand why it's there. Because if you don't welcome it, you're going to shove it under the rug. You're going to say time heals things, but I'm here to tell you, time doesn't heal, time numbs. Time makes things just disappear a little bit, but they deepen in here through your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and all the things because you don't really can't just push things away, right? You can't sweep it under the rug. You can't just say, oh, in 6 months, I'm going to feel better. Because we all know that in 6 months, you might feel better, but something's going to trigger you right back to where you were. So you have to welcome what's happening. You have to be okay with that it's happening for you and understand why it's happening for you so that you can confidently move past the situation, the experience, whatever it may be. Okay. Then you have to accept it. You have to accept it for its good, bad, right, wrong. It doesn't really matter. It's an experience in your life that you can now say, I'm aware of it. I'm going to welcome it. I'm going to accept it. And I need to move on from it. Because if you don't, you're going to stay stuck for all the wrong reasons. Okay. So accepting is about saying to yourself, I understand. I don't like what's happening and I want to do something about it, right? We often think that the thing that we have to do is so far away, but it really is just one power shift away from you to say, holy heck, I don't want this anymore. I understand why this has been presented to me in my life, and I want to make the change. I want to not live the way I'm living. I don't want to be in the work environment that I'm in. It's all these little things that are experiences in your life that if you aren't aware of the behaviors that continue to come pattern after pattern, cycle after cycle, they're going to just continue to happen. Even if you make a power shift and you're not aware of it. So, aware is the only way to become fully present in yourself and understand what the heck is actually happening. Okay. So becoming aware, it's so, so, so important. So you have to accept it. Okay. Now, the releasing part. I love to talk about this because it's a very simple thought. It's something that you can kind of relate to. And every single time that you have a situation in your life, you can think about Maggie, when she said this thing, you're going to go, wow, it's that easy. It's that easy to change. Okay. So when you release it, I want you to think about when you were in high school and you had a t-shirt that you wore and it was a little tight and you kind of hold it down. You might have hold on it this way and it was too tight, whatever, you wore it, you're uncomfortable, right? Okay. And you keep wearing it. You keep wearing it because you're like, well, maybe next time it won't feel that way. Has anybody had a piece of clothing like that where you're like, yeah, it's going to fit next time and I won't be pulling it? You put it on and you leave the house and you're like, ugh, shoot, I should have listened to my gut instinct the last time that said, throw this piece of clothing away. So I want you to think about that when you think about releasing this behavior, releasing this experience, is it's like an old piece of clothing that is in your closet that does not fit anymore. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel good. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It is all the things, right? It's basically in that closet for you to say, I'll wear this some other time, or maybe I'll put it on and I'll still feel uncomfortable. This is just like becoming aware in your situations. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't fit, and you feel as if you're playing small, guess what? Take the piece of clothing off, go buy a new t-shirt, and wear the size that fits. The one that makes you feel so freaking good. The one that makes you feel authentic. The one that makes you feel unapologetic for who you are and what you can bring to this life. Because I'm here to tell you that if you don't, you're going to continue to pull it down. You're going to continue to make it feel the way that it should feel. And in that, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to lose who you truly are. And so you have to be able to release it. It's just like that old piece of clothing that you just got to throw away. You have to throw away the behavior, the experience. You have to, and I hate to say throw away because it's not like you're just throwing it away and throwing it in the trash, right? And stifling it down. You're taking it off and releasing it and trying out a new behavior, a new job, a new pattern, a new something. Because if you are unable to actually release the one that you don't like, you can't then now experience new things. And I'm here to tell you that if you have been in that tight coat, or you've been in that tight shirt, or you've been in just a situation where you're just not feeling good, how many times do you say to yourself, I just wish I could experience something different? Just something little, something that makes you feel a little bit more alive, that makes you feel more like you, that makes you just truly light up inside a little bit. Because I'm going to tell you, oftentimes when you're not aware, that little fire that's inside of our hearts every single day gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and eventually it will go out. And you won't understand, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep having these experiences coming back into my life when I want something new? I want to experience a life of happiness, joy, fulfillment, passion, purpose, pleasure, whatever it may be, but these things keep happening. It's because the entire technique of aware has not been addressed. And you're sitting there thinking, this is what it is. It's as good as it gets. I need to just stay here because it's comfortable. Remind yourself that when it's comfortable, we can stay that way because our brains say, it's okay. You're comfortable here. And then when you really actually think about it, you want to be over here where it's a little uncomfortable. The uncertainty's maybe not there, but your next level version is right here. It's over right here. You can see that person. You can feel that person. You are that person. And by becoming more aware of what the heck is happening in your life, you can take that old piece of clothing off and try something else on. Try it on. Try it on for a while. Maybe that doesn't feel quite right. And that's okay too. But then guess what? You're going to go right back through that aware technique and you're say, all right, this piece of clothing is going to the back of the closet and I'm putting something else on. Maybe it's wintertime. Maybe you need a really heavy jacket. Maybe you need a little protection of armor for a minute. That is where the power shift comes in. And this is just one of the processes that I talk about so proudly and so much in depth with because it is truly something that you can use every day. Every single day, we have an experience, we have a situation, we have something happen in our life where you go, whoa, what the heck? Why is this happening? What's going on over here? Why is this? What's happening? And so every single time this comes up, you're going to think about that piece of clothing. You're going to think about how I talked you through aware. And so I really hope that you took it down, write the notes, re-listen to this, and understand that if you can truly and simply write out this one word and the words that follow each and every single letter, you will have a life-changing experience when it comes to any sort of situation, experience, anything, experiment, even if you experiment with it, okay? Because everything in our life is perspective. Have you ever noticed that when you go to a movie or you go somewhere, every single person has a different perspective? It's because it's life. That's how it is. Not right, wrong, good, bad. It's an experience. It's an experience that you get to become more aware of and say, do I like this? Do I not? Do I want to get rid of it? Do I want to keep it? And that's how you're going to literally make power shifts in your life become so much more simple. And I'm here to tell you that every single time now I think of that article of clothing, I think of how it's making me feel. How is it looking as I'm going through these things? Do I start to feel an ick? Do I start to not feel my authentic self? Do I start to feel as if there's something that's just not quite right? Go through the technique. So let's recap real quick through it. So we're going to do aware. So aware is becoming acknowledge. Acknowledge it out. Okay. So A is for acknowledge. L is for the way you look. No. Okay. We're going for aware. Okay. So acknowledge, aware. Okay. Think about it just for a second. Become more aware. Be more acknowledgeable of what is happening in your life and why. Then you're going to W is for welcome. Welcome the feelings. Welcome why it's happening. Welcome it all in. Because if you don't welcome it, you won't understand it. Okay? Then you're going to accept. Accept it for what it is and understand how to move past these feelings. Take the coat off. Put on a summer jacket. Take the summer jacket off. Put on a swimming suit. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, because this is your life and it's you who gets to decide how you want to feel. And then you're going to release it. And you're going to walk around in that swimming suit. You're going to walk around in that heavy coat, whatever it is. And you're going to release the feelings because you are walking into that next version of yourself. The person who is confident, the person who is excited, the person who knows that they deserve to be happy, confident, healthy, thriving, and be okay with it. Be unapologetic about it because everybody deserves that. Then you're going to have the new experiences and you're going to step into those new experiences being so much more confident, being so much more aware of what is going on in your life and why it is going on and what you can do to have the best experience in your life. Have the power shift. Have the ability to say, I wake up every single day with more awareness and more passion and more purpose and more fulfillment in my life through this one simple technique. So I'm here to tell you that that is basically one little tool I have that I will continue to share with each and every one of you through this podcast, because I am here to share with you how I have created a life full of passion, purpose, fulfillment, and all the things that I never truly thought possible until I started using the power shift techniques that I will continue to throw at you and have you understand that is the simple things in life that can make all of the difference. So I hope you got something out of this episode. I hope you wrote down the word aware. I hope you wrote it out. If not, go back and re-listen to this and write it out. Put it on a sticky note and understand the simple process that you can walk yourself through to continue to show up for yourself on a whole new level and experience the things that you have never thought possible through a very simple power shift. So thank you so much for joining this episode. I'm super excited to continue to learn and grow along each and every one of you. And until the next episode, I want you to remind yourself to make shifts happen and just truly show up for yourself, wearing that piece of clothing that makes you feel you authentically and unapologetically. Have a great one. Bye.